Welcome to Swolehammer. Even though we love the frantic action of Warcry and the skirmish gameplay of Kill Team, there's something to be said about fielding a big army. Hence why I started Starting Sigmar. For whoever is new to the channel or series, the mission of these videos are to help new players make a fun and efficient army from a specific faction, rounding out to a 1,000-point list, which is the lowest tier of competitive play. We also want to make it easy to acquire these items and enjoyable to hobby with. The criteria are as follows. We avoid making lists with repeat models. Models need to be easily accessible either from a Games Workshop store or Amazon. I like to support local, but sometimes prices can't be beat online. All models suggested are in plastic, and we only focus on armies with the current edition's battle tomes. We're in the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar. Some armies still only have their 2nd edition rules, and I don't want to do videos on them until they get their new rules because the videos will go out of date quicker. So join me as we ride the waves with the Idoneth Deepkin. So why play Idoneth Deepkin? Under the guise of being fun, sea-based elves, the true nature of the Deepkin is a lot more terrifying and awesome. The Idoneth Deepkin are blind elf rejects banished to the sea and now raid the land for souls on the back of sharks, murder eels, and their own martial prowess. Gameplay-wise, they're aggressive yet controlling. Many of your units are fast, hit hard, but cannot take a hit. Thankfully, you can manipulate the tides to give yourself different advantages throughout the battle, biding your time until you have the best moment to strike. One reason alone to play Deepkin are the amazing models. From a giant raiding turtle to a wave chad, the imagination and dynamic movement for this army's models is just stunning at times. Underrated and underplayed, truly a faction that exemplifies the unique twists and flavor in Age of Sigmar. Now on to the buy list, and as always, I start off with a list of the Vanguard box, or at least I try to if it's good. In this case, it is fairly good. You get an interesting mix of units for your army. Next we have an Achillean King, which comes in the Volturnos box. Volturnos is just the name character, but we're building the Achillean King for this list. Next up is the new Thrallmaster, which will help your Namartis get into combat and wreak havoc. This is an all-comers list that has many synergies and all the variety of models that you would want in your Deepkin army, allowing you to find a specific synergy to focus on for 2,000 points down the road. On to buy list number 2, and this is kind of closer to what I would like to do, is have a focus synergy, and we're taking actually the old Start Collecting Deepkin because I found it for a very reasonable price on Amazon. As I said, very underplayed, underrated army, so it's lucky that you can find this online still. And then next up we're taking the Leviathan, the giant raiding turtle, which will take up a hilarious amount of your army. With less models and staying under 200 points, this is kind of a fun way to hop in the army a bit quicker if that's what you're looking to do. Starting up, we have list number 1, which is going to be Ironrack Subfaction. This is the all-comers list, but this subfaction in particular gives you additional benefits for the Tides of Death ability. The Achillean King is your general. This helps make your Eels battle line, giving you the 2 battle line requirements you need. The Soul Scryer is just there to fill points, but he's okay if you want to deep strike some of your units. Then you have your Sharks, your Namartis, which are your foot troops, and then the Thrallmaster to buff them up. This is good, like I said, all comers list, and if you want to focus on something later, you can. But this will give you a lot to work with, a lot to play with, and harass your opponent thoroughly. Now, while the second list isn't as pretty point-wise, it still hits just as hard. We take the Start Collecting box with the Isharan Soul Render, who will bring back your Namarti Thralls. Since it's Nautilar subfaction, the 500-point Achillean Leviathan will become battle line. The Leviathan buffs both the Namartis and the Achilleans in different ways, and this is just a really fun and quick way to get to 1,000 points with Deepkin, in my opinion. So that's it! As always, keep an eye out as I will be covering more and more 3rd edition battle tomes as they release. Slaves of Darkness is next on the docket, I promise. But in the meantime, let us know if you'd like to see any other Starting Sigmars for any other armies. As always, this is Rafik with Swolehammer. Stay swole.